Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting on a Fan. And today is Wednesday, December 25th, 2019. December 25th in the United States and in other parts of the world is Christmas Day. And of course, for my fellow witches, Wiccans, and pagans, and magical practitioners, it is also the night, well, depending upon where you are. If you're on the Pacific Coast, it is the night of the new moon and solar eclipse in Capricorn. If you're on the east coast of the United States like yours truly, then it is the dark moon in Capricorn. I love dark moons. Dark moons are the best time of the lunar month for surrendering and releasing, banishing and dissolving, eliminating and taking the things, both tangible and intangible, from your life and your world and banishing them back to the nothingness from whence they came. Burn, baby, burn. So I'm having a sip of one of my favorite beverages, seltzer. And I'm very happy about dark moons. They work very well for me. And mind you, I am well aware that there are 8 lunar phases, and of course each of them do have a correspondence to the Witch's Wheel of the Year, since there are 8 of those celebrations as well. But dark moons really do it for me. New moons and dark moons really do it for me. Yes, the nights before the full moons are lovely. The nights of full moons are wonderful. The nights after full moons are also potent. But for me, more than anything else, a dark moon night and a bright moon night. The bright moon is what I was taught is the night before the full moon, or what is, or is the term used to describe the night before the full moon. But anyway, so this is the official video for the January 2020 Great Goddess Circle. And it is also the beginning of, the themed Great Goddess Circles. Actually, speaking of goddesses, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of 3 ornaments in particular. Now, let's start with this one up here, if you don't mind. So, all of the images are actual tarot cards from the Universal Goddess Tarot, created by Maria Carratti and illustrated by Antonella Platano. It is a Lo Scarabeo tarot deck, and appropriately on the High Priestess card is the goddess more commonly known as Isis, since most tarot decks have an Isian theme to them anyway. And that's Trump 2. And then you have Trump 18, the Moon, which depicts Selene, the Greek goddess of the full moon. And last but not least, you have Athena, the Greek goddess of war and wisdom, and the Greek goddess of sacred strategy, as well as artistry and arts and crafts. She is appropriately on Trump 4, the Emperor card. And there is her owl familiar Archimedes, and there is her Aegis, which depicts the face of Medusa. I love Antonella Platano's graphic novel style of artwork, and for the record, they also have significance because my celestial mother is Osset, my awesome audiovisual person's celestial mother is Selene, and our mutual friend Will, his mother goddess, is Athena. Interestingly enough, these 2 goddesses, as you know, Osset, Isis, and Selene, have a connection to the full moon, and Athena has a connection to the dark moon. In fact, according to Judica Ellis's Encyclopedia of Spirits, the first day of the dark moon is significant and sacred to Athena. So yes, I was really happy about that. So, let me tell you about, so first of all, let me just make sure that I have the date correct. So, Monday, January 6th, 2020, Eastern Time, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, is the date and time of the January 2020 Great Goddess Circles. Now, those of us who are either happily recovered Catholics like yours truly, or Catholics, or Christians, or born-again Christians, know that that January 6th is the Epiphany, or also known as the 12th day of Christmas. Yes, there is a 12th day. There is a 12th day of Christmas, and it's so funny because for the longest time, when I was both a happily recovering Catholic and being a happily recovered Catholic now, the Epiphany is always sacred to me. There's a sense of nostalgia for me with the Epiphany. I remember, it's also known as Three Kings Day, by the way, and I remember just growing up, there was this lovely energy in my godparents' home on Three Kings Day, Dia de los Tres Reyes in Español. And I always have this warm feeling in my heart when it comes to January 6th. In fact, for the longest time, I wanted my birthday to be January 6th. But it's January 8th, which is fine with me. Although I always wonder why people forget my birthday. Like, you mean you never heard of Elvis Presley? You never heard of David Bowie? Really? Oh, you have heard of them? Then why do you keep forgetting my birthday? January 8th. Or as another part of me would say, January 8th, bitches. January 8th, bitches. Know what I'm saying? But that's another video for another time. Clearly. Okay, so as I've stated in a few previous videos, beginning in January 2020, there would be a certain theme that would be a part of every Great Goddess Circle. And the theme of the Great Goddess Circle of January 2020 is La Befana. La Befana is an Italian goddess, or an Italian folk saint, depending upon with whom you speak. And La Befana's sacred day, or one of her festival days, if not her main festival day, is January 6th. And La Befana has a lot of similarities to another saint, specifically Nicholas, in that she brings all of these beautiful gifts to children and adults and people that are good and kind and that love giving to other people. And I love the sacred mythology of La Befana. And she's somebody that I'm learning more about as we get closer to January 6th. And I actually have something special planned for La Befana. And for the participants of that particular Great Goddess Circle. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, here are the details with regards to the Great Goddess Circles in general. So you can participate in person or online. It's $30 per participant. All registered participants who are participating in person will receive the location information, what to bring with them physically to the location, etc. And all of the registered participants in person or online are going to receive a link to the video. Now keep in mind that YouTube is very good at archiving videos. So as soon as I stop the live stream, it will be archived immediately. So every person who receives, who's registered, will absolutely receive that link via email. Because with all the Great Goddess Circles, I'm also sending an email about how to connect with that particular goddess, or how to work with that goddess with words, with herbs, with what have you. I haven't been doing that with the Great Goddess Circles of this year, but I feel that I'm being divinely directed. I'm going to say it like that, being divinely directed by all the goddesses that are going to be explored and connected to and worked with in all of the Great Goddess Circles of 2020 on how to expand their connection to them, and as I would say, expand one's inner goddessness. So I'm really happy about that, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot in 2020, not just with my professional psychic practice, but also in all the other areas of my life. I've declared 2020 to be my year of travel, so I'm looking forward to going to places that I have not had the opportunity to visit previously. And I'm very, very excited about that. I'm really excited about that, actually. So that's one thing. And definitely, I'm really looking forward to expanding the Great Goddess Circles in what the participants receive from participating in them. So with that being said, I also feel that, it really, you know what it is? I've never been comfortable with selling myself when it comes to my psychic services, because I always feel that people need to follow their intuition with regards to that. And I am absolutely okay with people asking their higher selves, their guardian angels, or their spirit guides, or for that matter, their personal goddess, would I benefit from using the psychic services offered by Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch? And if they say yes, then you know what to do. And if they say no, then you know exactly what not to do. And I think that's important. You know, I really, and I'm a little biased, I'll admit it, because I think that, you know, I mean, I've made it crystal clear to the goddess, I don't want bodies. Because honestly, let me be perfectly blunt, I know exactly what to say to people to get bodies. I really do. I know exactly what to say to people to get bodies. You know, it's funny, for a while, I had a part-time position of employment, get this, as a bookkeeper for a Lutheran church. And I say that with humor in my voice and in my soul, because here is a happily recovered Catholic moon magic witch working as a bookkeeper for a Lutheran church. I mean, it's pretty funny. And yet, you know, nobody had an issue with me being a goddess. Well, I didn't talk about being a goddess worshiper because there was so much that I needed to do. It wasn't like I had the option of saying, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a witch. But I know that the pastor, who's since deceased, no, I shouldn't laugh about that, but the pastor did have an issue with me giving readings. And it was funny because one time I'd gone to a baptism party and he was saying to me, you know, I'm really not interested in you telling me how this is important. I said, well, I wasn't going to do that. And he was shocked. He was expecting me to like debate like the benefits of tarot, the wisdom of tarot. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. No. I didn't even do that when I first began learning the tarot. Because I've always known that some people love the tarot and some people don't. Some people are afraid of it, some people aren't. You know, it's how it is. You know, and even though the tarot is more mainstream than it used to be, which I gotta admit, I am okay with that to a certain extent, and I'm not the only person that feels this way. But, you know, because let's face it, long gone are the days when you only learned about magic and witchcraft and the occult through being part of a secret group of people, usually referred to as a coven. Those days are long gone. I mean, I'm still taken aback with a bit of surprise whenever I see a really highly esoteric topic in a book in a chain bookstore, like, oh, wow. Like, it's really, like, that still takes me aback. But yeah, but getting back to the Great Goddess Circle of Monday, January 6, 2020, they really are, in general, a great way to develop a deeper connection to one's personal goddess, to learn about different goddesses, and also to heal, magnify, and radiate one's inner goddessness. I really love that phrase, and I don't remember if I coined it or if I read it in a book and I just remembered it because it resonated with me. But there is something about the word goddessness that really, really resonates for me. And if any of you know where that word first appeared, please let me know. Because I would want to acknowledge the source or cite the source, like book-wise, website-wise, that has that word or that coined that word. Because Goddess bless, I spoke the truth. I really don't remember. All of the details, all of the additional details for this Great Goddess Circle will be in the accompanying blog post. But if you are clear that you want to participate, what you would do is you would send $30 per person to either my PayPal.com account or my Cash App account. Thank you again, Michelle Swan of Dreamers, for turning me on to Cash App. By the way, Michelle is a living goddess. I highly recommend her psychic services, her intuitive card reading services. She is wonderful, 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 and she's one of the few people that I am happily, wholeheartedly, delightfully, lusciously, lovingly, lavishly happy to recommend to others, even my own clients. Anyway, so with that being said, YouTube, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. Thank you so much for availing yourselves of my psychic services, whether it was at Catland in Bushwick, Brooklyn, NYC, or Notions and Potions in Beacon, New York, as I lovingly call it, freaking Beacon, baby, New York, on Main Street, or Ripley Griff Studios in Midtown Manhattan, also NYC. Or if you had an in-person reading with me someplace else, or a phone reading, or a Skype reading, or whatever kind of reading, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. May 2020, the year of a solid, balanced foundation, bring you peace, health, and plenty in your mind, body, affairs, and relationships. And with that, good night.